I met Nico through the MMA gym that we both train at.
My background is divided in two different sides. The one side there's martial arts, and the other one there's the production.
We're talking about different ideas, different things we could pursue.
Really awesome cohesion of many skilled individuals coming together to make a really neat project, I think.
Things start falling at the right place.
My understanding of the show is that we're looking for anything unusual, anything interesting, cultural phenomenons, whether they be supernatural or natural. Strange nonetheless. Sometimes fact is much stranger than fiction.
Luke one day comes out and says, I know a guy that he's capable of calling the UFOs, or he has some sort of a UFO contact.
The first adventure came up with the mention of this fellow Jacob, and the assertion was that Jacob could summon UFOs. So this is obviously like right on the money. Exactly some weird shit that we wanted to look for. And one way or another, if he was gonna actually summon UFOs or if he was not gonna summon UFOs, it didn't really matter because it was a big adventure and we could film it and probably something interesting would happen one way or another.
I think the number one thing I don't want to encounter would probably be some group of cultists out in the woods. That to me is creepier than most things. Yeah, you have to worry about wolves and bears or whatever weird stuff out there, but people tend to scare me the most. They tend to go to the farthest extreme of the psychological profile.
It's exciting to see what's going to happen, and we're going to see probably some strange stuff. The rumor has that he's going to bring in I guess like a team of witches and do some kind of a ritual, and that's going to bring aliens, I guess. So I don't know, whatever. It sounds great.
I've seen like a crazy shit in my life, but so this guy basically, what does he do? Like he calls for the UFOs.
That's my impression. Is he's going to do some kind of ritual. He's got these women that are going to come with him. They're going to do some kind of ritual, and that's going to.
He's got what? Women, you say?
Women. That's right.
Okay.
And the theory is, as the claim is, that he's with them. They're going to do some kind of ritual, and fucking aliens are going to show up.
It was an insane story.
And 3 a.m. like driving through Texas, of course,
right?
And all of a sudden, this like huge light comes, like ship light thingy. You're just like, what the? And it like the trajectory that it crossed, like came across the sky, and just like the speed and like the weird like wibbly wobbly, like it was just like what? And like he like let off the gas.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we all just like cruised to a stop, and he's just like, I was like, did you? And he's like, yep. I was like, dude. And we're just like blown away.
How many encounters like this have you had that you would categorize generally as being kind of like that?
Maybe like 10 or so.
Nice.
10 or
Wow.
under, somewhere in there. Yeah. And right now, it's like they're everywhere. They just keep popping up everywhere across the globe.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
How would you categorize the interaction that we might have? Do you think it would be like, how would you categorize that interaction, I'd say?
No, that's a great question. I always sound like a crazy person too, but I think more and more, what I study, there's going to be like areas of light, they call them, where there's going to be, hopefully, touchdowns.
I would say that he had a flash, happened to him, could have been anything.
Could have been a fucking low-flying chopper or whatever,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
And I think he pursued it and his interests in drugs as well.
We cannot go there and shoot like a bunch of people getting high,
Yeah.
No, absolutely
with heavy
not.
drugs and shit.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna face a sort of junkie or, somebody that was totally hallucinating.
If they're all tripping on ayahuasca or something like that together, we could separate them by a certain amount and see if they're having the same experience in a way that's linked.
I don't want anyone to get disappointed here. We're not gonna see like a spaceship or something.
We're
It's
very
just,
skeptical.
Yeah,
like
I think-
more
I think
like
that's the sense.
subconsciousness.
Yeah.
Or
I
things
think-
like that. You
We're
know?
all in agreement of skepticism.
Yeah.
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 Okay, first encounter, West Texas. Like, we were sober for 2 weeks at the time. And shit, like 3 o'clock in the morning, just like driving. All of a sudden, like, it was just like there, like, it was just like bright as fuck. And he kind of just like let off the accelerator. And like, we were both just kind of like stunned. It sounded like the Men in Black. We're just like, doof. And it's just like, we're like, So then it just did like this crazy like jiggle, and then it made this like across the sky. It went so like covered so much ground, and the trajectory that it went, and then the other trajectory that it went, it kind of just left it like did a little dance across the whole sky, and just then it just went pew, and just like light speeded out of there. And we didn't say anything for a good like 5 minutes. Like, it was already just a crazy, weird, bizarre trip. So after all that, it was a great meditation. My buddy's like, I gotta tell you something, man. I'm like, okay. And all of a sudden, like, the room like shifts energy. It gets a little cold. I'm like, oh fuck. And he's like, yeah, when I was like 10 years old, I prayed to the devil. You know what I mean? I asked him to kill my stepmom, who was abusing me at the time, my dad, and then myself. At this point, my buddy like flips over on he like won't look at us, and is just like his even voice changes, like drops a few octaves. Alistair comes in, he deals with this. So he just started talking to these entities. But like, after all that, his voice changed, like, and then he looked up and his eyes were just like these blue crystals. I think it's something that's out of space and time, something that's beyond all of us. You know, it could be source. You can call it whatever you want. But I think I've had so many stuff like that, so many encounters traveling as a young teen too, just like of people, just like synchronicities again, like meeting someone 3 days later in the middle of the woods that I met previously that I was trying to get away from, and like all of a sudden like they're manifesting and I'm a tripping acid and they're right there. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, my fear was confronted right in front of me. You know what I mean? It's just like so many times like that shit would happen. So I'm not quite sure what it is. I think it's like having an open heart, being adventurous, being able to step out of the boundaries, not going into fear. You know what I mean? Who knows? And we were in this city, Garberville. I'll just try to summarize it real quick. Basically, hippie town, trim scene. This dude named Greasy, fucking terrifying individual. Like, his eyes were straight black. He's like, y'all got any spare clippings? And we're just like, who? What? And like, it was so much like we left. We're like, let's just get out of this town. And so a day later, we picked up this dude Tomas, who was from Europe or something. We're talking about God, life, everything, and he gives us some acid. He's like, the redwoods are like 2 miles that way. It was amazing. Like 4 or 5 hours into it, just like the first time, and just like looking at these trees, just like breathe and sway, and I'm just like, what? Sure as shit. Like, we see this like silhouette coming, and like I just start laughing. I'm like, is that fucking Greasy? And it was Greasy. We were like 60 miles away, some random like stop. He just got like dropped off. And he recognized us. He's like, "What's up, guys?" He's like, I'm gonna go get some beers. Like, can I leave my stuff with you? And I was like, I'm still just like, is this dude real? I don't know if this dude is real. And he scared the shit out of me. Eventually found like this murder mystery book. It started to get super dark. I'm like, I think he might try to fucking kill us. So like my RV was like on a hill. Somehow like I just figured out how to drive a stick shift and just like got the fuck out of there. And but no, yeah, it was just one thing after another like that, of just made me question reality and like what actually is going on here, and is the rabbit hole a lot deeper than we've been led on to believe. If you're there, if you want to do, if you're ready to dive deep, you could flip back to a lifetime and pull out of certain, like a quiver, pull out of a certain characteristic that you had, or a certain energy, or a certain skill set that you had, and you can bring that to the forefront right now. And I think that's what's being revealed currently. It's like our star brothers and sisters are here on Earth, they're also in the skies, and so it's like it's as above, so below. They're inside the Earth. You know what I mean? There's the tunnel systems that run through. It's like they're here with us. They reside in the Pleiades star system, and the Pleiadians kind of look similar to us. Blonde, blue eyes, very like unique features, very good at like music and arts and sound, as far as healing and stuff like that. Breathwork has helped me transform that, eating cleanly, and then plant medicines with intent. You know, the mushrooms and ayahuasca, even like frog medicine, Kambo, stuff like that. It's just like really cleared my vessel and opened me up to some higher vibrational stuff. Andara crystals is another one that's really here to help. They say like Lemuria was coated in these crystal cities. And so these Andara crystals, they're like these fifth dimensional crystals. And they hold a certain frequency that's really high vibrational and can help us heal. So yeah, it just comes from a state of like bliss, or like the higher, happiness or joy, or just like those higher vibrational frequencies, and then that shifts you into like the connection, and you can feel sometimes, I mean, in Sedona, like I could feel it, so like you could feel when stuff would just like fly over, you're just like, oh, you just like your body just starts like buzzing, and you're just like, oh my gosh, dude. I'd say working with crystals and then going into meditation, just doing your own thing first is probably a great step. Listen to binaural beats. There's certain even Palladian meditations that you can work with, or whatever star group you feel called to. For me, the best way to do that quickly without like, going to a float tank or without doing a heavy dose of some mushrooms or something like that is just to do breath work. I've worked with Reiki and energy before, where like crystals have like using energy to push energy into them, they'll just like crack. And so some of them are like already pre-cracked by Gaia herself, Mother Earth, and they can hold these higher vibrational frequencies.
So Jacob came today, and first impression, he got out of the car, I'm like, oh yeah. He's got the drug on. He looks the part, man. This guy, if I was walking around, I needed to get acid from somebody, this is the guy I'd go to.
Yeah, we got into a moment where we looked at each other and said like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna get a trip? Are we gonna... No. We have to operate with cameras. And we can't trip.
What was kind of distinct, I thought, is that he was definitely saying a lot of what to me is a lot of like kind of pretty far out shit. You know what I mean? But I did feel like he was a genuine person.
He's a nice guy. I mean, he has like a nice energy.
I got the sense that he believed what he was saying. It was interesting, the detail about his first UFO encounter, that it was preceded immediately by an exorcism, to be like, how did you not fucking say that before, man? Like, that's crazy.
It's gonna happen that a couple of people are gonna get a trip. I told you the truth.
Pretty sure that whatever UFO encounters we're gonna have are going to be of the psychological variety.
The thing is not that they trip out. The thing is that everybody sees the same stuff.
One of the other things I thought was really interesting is he's talking about the using modulated light signals to talk to them, and then you would see modulated like signals coming back from the night sky. That was pretty interesting.
If we can get somebody to have one of those trips, and we do like the interview before and after.
So are you talking about shrooms?
Is this?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, I would be willing to take some shrooms.
Wait, guys, we got an astronaut here.
My name's Dustin. I overheard conversation about a astronaut being needing, and when the time comes, I would be willing to lift off. Usually just stick with marijuana because no matter what, it's always a good trip. Yeah, I kind of like shrooms, and hopefully I can give some data that no one else has by me taking a nice space trip on the other side.
Would it change your worldview at all if you had a genuine encounter with a presence from beyond?
Actually, yeah, that I would actually become a believer in the other afterlife or another world or something like that, because I do believe in seeing is believing, and so far I haven't seen anything, so this might open my mind a little bit.
Check. Nico filled you in. We have this guy, and he's had these interactions, yeah?
Yep.
All right, man. So I'm just gonna jump right into it with some questions here. What was your first encounter with these guys?
My first encounter is very, very spiritual, very divine, and it was more telepathic than in person. You know, higher dimensional beings, more advanced beings, the ones that follow universal law, they could not come down here and intervene in a species evolutionary.
Lost the call. That's also unusual. It's probably just a silly coincidence, but it's unusual. As soon as we started thinking about the rules that these beings have to follow, the phone just cut out. He did text with some question mark. Oh, here we go. Hey, sorry, I don't know what happened there. Dude, it's so funny. We were just saying that. It's you know, I gotta tell you something. On the first day we were talking to this guy we were interviewing, immediately we had 2 SD cards just go bad on us. Right then we started rolling, which is statistically very unlikely.
Double SD card fail. I'm sorry.
Checked it out, it's all good. And then I put it in today, and it was corrupt.
When it comes to the Pleiadians, right? We gotta know where they come from, right? They're called. They're a star system. There's 7 binary stars, the 7 sisters of the Pleiades. There's over, I believe, 108 or 9 planets. The thing is, with the spiritual Pleiadians, they follow universal law. Love is the key. The vibration of love. To be in contact with them, to communicate with them, you need to be in a higher state of consciousness. You need to be in higher vibrations of love, divine love.
We have this mission. We're going to get together with this guy, and we are going to, basically, he's going to perform this ritual with these people, and with the intention of interacting with these beings. Do you think we'll be successful in that, or do you think we're just on a wild goose chase here, and that they will, present themselves in a different way?
Again, it all depends on the energy around it. They can read you so far away. They can look into your heart. They can look into your mind. They know your intention.
I'm still not 100% clear on the details of that. It sounds like there's a bunch of different things this guy is going to attempt to do with different plant medicines and different musical rituals and stuff like that, meditation rituals. I'm not 100% clear on what it's going to be. And he said that more or less he's going to just let it, he's going to basically just go on instinct. We should meet at my place. We should do a total gear check everything, run everything.
I'm not coming, but I believe the plan is tomorrow to go down there and to set it up, as opposed to Saturday was the original plan.
If I didn't have to work, I'd be there.
So far, it seems like the concern is making sure all the equipment is safe.
We need to get some warm equipment for everybody, because we are going to be out there overnight.
So yeah, I'm excited for you guys to get back and let's piece together some of the footage and see how we want to present it, and I'm excited to see about.
This is the backbone of every film production right here. All your favorite movies are made with this. Our astronaut may or may not be lost in space, so we'll see what happens. He may or may not be coming. But we may have another astronaut lined up, Christian. So we'll see. Our beloved PA might be taking a little little trip to outer space here.
We're ready to roll.
Oh yeah.
And let me show you the equipment that we have. We got for our cold weather extra gear for outdoor, shoulder mount for camera A.
Hopefully gonna leave soon. It's a 3.5 hour drive. I'm a little sleepy as it is, so I'd love to get on the road whenever possible. But it's all contingent on what happens with Dustin. If he suddenly decides to materialize, or if he's, been already abducted by aliens, we don't know. So we'll be building our camp at night, and yeah, it'll be probably chilly. Maybe the witches will come tonight. If not tonight, then tomorrow night, along with Jacob, who is our contact. And yeah, it should be a hoot and a holler. Hopefully we don't get abducted by aliens.
Do we have the GPS on?
Yeah. We're 2 hours 10 about away. About to go get a little bit of chow before everything's closed for the night in this state. Yeah. We're already getting there at night. Shouldn't matter too much. Oh, we're gonna be near Hell, Michigan. I just realized that. Do you know that? You know Hell, Michigan? There's a town called Hell.
Okay.
And we're gonna be just a few miles from it. At the mouth of Hell.
Okay.
What do you think of that, man?
So we're gonna be in the woods with some witches.
Near Hell. Captain Nico.
I'm gonna be the driver, and you're gonna be the passenger.
Here we go. Campsite is going to be, hopefully, we're gonna be able to drive right up to it, unload, set up the 9-person, hop in, put the equipment in, or leave some of the equipment in the car for safekeeping. So Nico and I are both pretty aggressive when it comes to just getting shit done and getting into things, you know what I mean? We're not the type of people, we don't like to hem and haw for too long. If anything, to a fault, we are in the other direction where, we'll just fucking start.
Dustin had to cancel. So we were still with this UFO guy willing to do the shooting, with us willing to do the shooting, but we didn't have anybody to test.
This is a 5-star hotel right here.
It's cold outside.
But watch this. I'm going to a full cocoon.
It's very early in the morning. Outside is freezing. I'm not used to it. It's very, very cold here. Shit.
Alright, we've woken up in the jungle. Ready to go get some coffee and go to the hardware store?
Yeah.
First thing we need to do is we're gonna go grab a cup of coffee. Then we're gonna go to the hardware store.
We need to coordinate it with Christian.
If he comes with Justin, he'll probably get here an hour after Jacob. Basically, where we're at is, it's not like really, we're not really camping in the wilderness. We're basically camping in it feels like a suburb of tents. So one was just a fucking carpentry nail. That was one we lost. Basically a pin just flew out of this thing when we were trying to set it up and disappeared into the darkness. So we took it apart and it just went ping and flew out of here right when we were setting it up. Jacob said that we can't really be around other people for this little adventure here. We're gonna have to be pretty secluded. So we're trying to get some logistical solutions going. Trying to figure out how far off the beaten path we need to be first and foremost, and how we can light it, and how we can keep our equipment dry in case it rains.
It was pretty difficult, pretty tough situation.
Everything's great. That's the bottom line. So Christian's coming to meet us here in a second. He should be here momentarily.
our people here are gonna do a little meditation and just see what we see what they encounter. Yeah.
I am a healer and explorer of this world. I'm also an alternative journalist, and anything considering mysticism has always fascinated me. So any opportunity I have to learn more about what might be outside our physical world, it calls to me, and so I'm here.
We're gonna go on the inner planes first and kind of ground in, and then we'll see what happens. Not promising anything.
I wasn't expecting this at all. I thought I was just gonna help out with lights, camera, and action. So actually I am helping out with the action in a way.
We are going to set an intention and meditate and look at the skies and hopefully see some ships or see some extra-dimensional, extraterrestrial activity.
I'm gonna drink some tea that has been prayed over and has some magical powers, and that helps me kind of go into the different dimensions a little bit deeper.
Mysterious things up there that are unexplainable. So we'll see if these guys could give us some answers tonight.
I have seen a few interesting activity in the sky before, multiple occasions. The first time I must have been only 5 or 6. Me and my father were watching the skies back home in Russia, and there was something like a star, but it was jumping around in the sky like a spider. So I looked at my dad and he said, "Oh, that's a ship," because stars don't act that way, and we've seen it twice in the same week.
I've never really tried to do it on command, you know? I think it can be done, especially in the times we're in, like the veil is so thin.
If you see an alien tonight, would you say it's a result of the reality, of your fantasy, or the drug?
I think it'd be because of the brain being influenced by the drugs. If I do hallucinate with aliens tonight.
It's all energy, isn't it? So if I get empowered in a way that allows me to open up the parts of my brain to send a message, well, whoever we're contacting up there are a lot more evolved, so it should be a piece of cake for them to receive it.
Honestly, I was like, man, I hope that we get something weird and then we just fucking go home.
Very giggly. I see a very bright object up in the sky.
Suddenly something strange started happening. There were stars as you can see them, but they were not normal stars.
You know, I'll be damned. They point out something in the night sky, say, "Oh, that light just appeared."
It disappeared.
Let's look at this.
Oh, it's coming back?
Different fucking color.
There's a red one over there?
Slowly dimming back on, like someone using a dimmer switch. And there was the one on the left, which is also now disappearing.
They're both doing.
What? There was one disappeared.
Oh shit, it looks like it's moving. Maybe it's just because I'm focusing on it too hard. Look away, look back, it's still moving. Okay, try and like catch it in my peripheries. Yeah, it's still moving in my peripheries. I put my finger out like this, and sure enough, it actually moves from behind my finger. And so I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now?
There was electromagnetic sound, or I don't know what it was.
And just the way we interacted with it too was cool, and how quickly it came. And oh my god! Yeah, I know. Just fascinating. So it's just a beautiful dance.
Deep down, none of us thought we were gonna see shit.
What we experience is totally pure. So the only way to experience this, I believe, is having the experience, is making that specific experience.
Something definitely strange was happening in the skies that I've never experienced before when watching the stars.
I've never seen stars behave that way that they did that night.
Yeah, we explore urban myth. What we're doing here is something totally different.
We saw things that were visible to the naked eye. Even if you weren't even looking at the sky, you would catch this shit in your peripheries, you know what I mean? Or if you were just like listening to music, or if you had like wireless headphones on, you would probably be getting hit with radio waves that you could not ignore. You would be jumping onto your headphones.
I feel like when these things would appear, the water and the wind would pick up, but when it was weird because then when they would disappear, it would calm down.
You know, some interesting individuals, so to speak, that just tripped their ass off and went to see UFOs in their head, but it really appears from the reactions of my friends, it's genuine.
One way or another, we gotta pull on this thread a little more.